Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the W3Champions Finals. This is day 4, the second last one. And of course, we're going to start with the 2-2s once again. We got 8 players from 7 nations playing hopefully 6 maps to reach the best of 5 grand final. In total, we got 4 teams playing the best of 3s to decide the 2 grand finalists. And with me is the one, Kevin Dong.
Wow, that was really well said, Neo. You missed a number 5 in there, but there's 2 of us today. But at the end of the day, there will only be one winner. Okay, maybe there will be 4 winners or 3 winners. I don't know. I messed that up already.
It is 4 a.m. for you, so don't you worry. I did not miss the 5 because that was part of the
Oh.
best of 5 grand final.
Okay. I'm off my game today. Again, I have to blame it. It's 4 a.m. today for me.
It is 4 a.m. and I'm very, very thankful that you're here. We had to reschedule a little bit because Smurf and Hailua were not available yesterday when they were supposed to be playing. It is a Friday, of course, it's a work day. Not everybody can play there, so we just put it in front of the other semifinals. So we got a lot of 2-on-2 action here today. And who will reach the grand final? Will it be the 2 Phantom Aces teams in PaTo, Scars, and Starbuck Craft, or will it be Smurf Hailua and Dyson Rezamoon?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. All 4 teams that are going to be playing in the semis today have really shown off what they can do in last week's matches. They've proven themselves and beaten 1 opponent each. And they also, what I'm most excited about today is everyone showed off a great diversity of styles. PaTo, Scars, Razor Moon, Dise, Crab, and Starbuck all played like very unique styles that we don't typically see on ladder, for instance. Whereas Smurf and Hailua played very standard compared to the other 3 teams, which is not really standard for Smurf. I would say he's more of like I consider him more of an out of the box kind of player. But he just showed off really great, like straightforward Demon Hunter Archer play with his ally, who showed very standard human play. So I'm excited to see the diversity of styles clashing against each other in all the semifinals today.
Yeah, me too, man. 2-on-2 action. I love it since the WC3 days. It's great to have it back. And you mentioned Nabu or Smurf. He's oftentimes available in the gym community and in voice chat. And after the cast last Friday, when they won their quarterfinal, he immediately yelled at me like, "Neo, what are you talking about again? You said we're the underdog against Dark and Reaver. We're 20-1 against them on ladder." Missed my research there. Sorry, Smurf. Won't happen again. I guess there's no clear favorite in the first semifinal. PaTo and Scars, teammates, of course, know each other quite well. Orc and Night Elf go well together. Smurf and Hailua also teammates for Team Humad. Human and Night Elf also going well together.
Uh, going to join the first game. Yes, we have Night Elf and Orc today versus Human and Night Elf. And I think this can go in a couple of ways. If all the players go for a similar strategy as last time, it's going to be pretty interesting because we saw again very standard play from the Human and Night Elf team, but from the Orc and Night Elf team, we actually saw a massing strategy with with a Tauren Chieftain plus mass Hunters. In addition to that, a Potom plus mass Huntresses. Which is not very typical. The typical Night Elf Orc strategy is maybe a Demon Hunter plus Archers and a Blade Master plus Grunts into a lot of pressure play. So I think it's the ball is really going to be in PaTo and Scars' court. I think they're the most likely to kind of switch up the strategy, whether it's the massing strategy or the standard strategy, and it's going to be up to Hailua and Narbu or Smurf in order to react to the Night Elf and Orc combo.
Yeah, I
So we'll see
definitely
what happens there.
would definitely agree with you there. I'd say PaTo, not the most creative player there is, but Scars absolutely is. He kind of invented mirror image style in the one-on-ones and also had great ideas yesterday for Orc versus Night Elf with, for example, mass casters versus the first push against Night Elf. So let's see if he was creative. I know he was a little bit busy yesterday night. There was a party in his place. So hopefully he's awake and fresh enough to bring this home.
Man, Neo, you just mentioned that Narbu yelled at you last week for saying he's the underdog, but today you're like, no, I don't, not the most creative guy. Also, he had a party last night. I don't think he's gonna do very well.
PaTo would never yell at
Shots
me.
fired.
PaTo would never yell at me. He's way too nice of a guy. And he wants to come to my land, so he has to be nice to me.
Oh,
Otherwise,
ooh.
I keep him out. Nah, I couldn't really do that. PaTo too nice of a guy. Second semifinal. Starbuck and Kraft, the big favorites in this entire tournament, I guess. Is there a chance for Rezamoon and Dice?
You know what? There might be actually. I think Razor Moon and Dice, and not only just Razor Moon and Dice, but also Krav and Starbuck. They're kind of just like wild players in the sense that none of them play very standard stuff. In the 2-on-2, if we're to expect the similar level of games and the similar types of games that we saw last week, I don't have a lot of experience playing against those styles. Um, and it's really because it's so different and because it's so like off the wall, there might be a higher chance of upsets from Razor Moon and DC. But then again, we have the game sense, the raw game sense from Starbuck and Krav. They just know 2v2s like so much better, it feels like, than any other team. So I think that'll be their strength in that matchup.
Yeah, hopefully Starbuck is at home this time and not on his beach house on the Wi-Fi, or not even Wi-Fi, on the phone internet. So yeah, let's see about that. We have a packed day today, not only the one-on-ones, but the 2-on-2s, but also the one-on-ones, which are pretty exciting today as well. Lots of night elves to be seen there as colorful faces, elegant, and probably my favorite first round match saved for last in Moon versus Leon, plus the winner bracket and the big FFA grand final as well with Lilu and Bobby and Arenicus and a last second replacement because Neutron had to pull out unfortunately, but great day nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm excited for all those matches. We got a lot of night elves today. I'm noticing a lot of green. Oh, there
Yeah.
I disappeared.
Oops, sorry, wrong button, butterfingers. Why do you think that is, Monk?
Well, it must be because of the raw talent of the players involved, and not because of anything related to any other factors. Yeah.
If you, I will not doubt you, man. I will not talk against you in that regard, and I will probably be surrounded by a lot of Night Elf players later. I also invited Rezamoon to the cast. Kevin will be with me to join the one-on-one cast. So yeah, I'm very friendly with the Night Elves today.
Wow, look at this like bias from Neo. You know, these night elf players, you know, they build a whist, and Neo's like, oh my god, this is the greatest play of all time.
I'm a fanboy, dude. What can I say? What can I say? We got the maps and the lobby hosted. And we got Shattered Exile first, one of my favorite maps in any game mode, really. We also got Rusty Creek, which I like a lot, and DV. What's DV again?
DV, of course, Neo
is
installing
Death. Me too. I'm looking at the home. I'm totally not looking at the W3Champions homepage where all the maps are listed. Deja Vu, of course.
Oh, okay.
That is also a beautiful map. I like the 3 maps that we got here.
Yeah, I think they're generally pretty macro-based maps. I think Rusty Creek is probably the least macro-friendly of all the maps, in that it's hard to expand to the middle, and it's hard to expand in general because all the creep camps are really hard. The other 2 maps, Deja Vu, you can expand on relatively easily, and Shattered Exile is actually it's probably my favorite 2v2 map because the expo is pretty easy, and as a human player, I enjoy that. And just the games are pretty straightforward. After you clear out all the creep camps, it just and you can clear all the creep camps on the map relatively easily. Then it just becomes like a straight up battle of like two v2 armies essentially. And I like those like 80 food battles.
Me too. Hopefully we reach that. First map is on the way. Semifinal number 1. First to 2 joins the grand final. And we will have a new grand final. That's for sure. No Lawliot, no Sock available. New champs will be crowned tomorrow. And there we go. PaTo and Scars for the Phantom Aces versus Smurf and Hailua for UMAD. It's time.
All right.
Are we in for some player introductions?
I guess we are. On the bottom left, we have Smurf as the first Night Elf player, putting an Ancient of War by the Merc camp. And his ally, we have Hailua going for a standard human build. On the top right, we have PaTo going with a standard altar into Ancient of War build, not opting for the Merc camp creep, and going for an altar first build with an early Ancient of War, indicating that Demon Hunter might be a likely choice here. And on the top left, we have Scars, and he's going to opt for an altar and barracks build as well, so very standard. So unlike the first match, unlike the first semifinals involving PaTo and Scars, I think we're going to see very standard play with a Blade Master choice from Scars and a Demon Hunter choice from PaTo. And from the opposing team, we have yet again Demon Hunter from Smurf and Archmage from Hailua. So this is going to be a very standard match from all sides. Everyone's going for standard. And in this matchup, I would say that the Night Elf and Orc players are need to be on the offensive. They have amazing harass potential, and they're going to need to, especially what is typical is they're going to bully the human player, because the human is kind of a little squishy early with his Archmage, who is not as good as skirmishes as a Blade Master or a Demon Hunter. But the human also has some really strong timings, tier 2 rifleman timings, for example. And just overall, they can scale pretty well into late game with Blizzard, maybe a Blood Mage later on.
Dude, the knowledge bombs for the 2-on-2 strategies dropped right there. It is definitely different from what I expected, that's for sure. No Mass by Scars, also no Tavern Hero by Smurf, which is what he displayed especially last season finals with the Panda first. But alright. We got Demon Hunter, we got some creeping. Ancient of War in a little bit of trouble, but that should be fine. So pendant it is, but the Phantom Aces team of PaTo and Scars going for the aggression right away.
Yeah, what amazing creeping. Just like a showcase of what you can do with an Ancient of War. Interestingly enough, Smurf is going to get creep jacked, although all the creeps are already gone. So Smurf actually kind of turning it around. He's harassing the troll from PaTo and Scars, and he's actually able to kill it. But is he going to survive? Smurf TP's out, and it does the safe play here. But he's going to have to still defend against this onslaught, and he won't be able to defend against both the Blade Master and the Demon Hunter. So it looks like his ally Hailua has to help defend him.
Yeah, there's a lot of freedom for Hailua, of course, coming from the US of A. But level 2 only, quote unquote, no level 2 water elemental yet, will be a great help. Mass Harass now switched onto the Wisp, while PaTo is chasing the opponent's Demon Hunter around. Is that time for boots? Nope. Okay, probably not worth it in the one-on-one department, but early game, I'd give it to PaTo and Scars.
Yeah, well, yes, the PaTo and Scars have put up a lot of pressure, but you can see that Smurf and Hailua are the two players who are at level 2 each. So as long as PaTo, or as long as Smurf and Hailua can survive the early game, and I think it still remains to be seen how well they do, they might be at an advantage. I think the early game is still not over yet, and it still remains to be seen.
New mercenaries coming in, Quillboar Hunter, rare to be seen, but they cleared this up, so obviously they have access to it. Smurf again, under a little bit of pressure here, but blocks the way out. Shouldn't be a big issue to run away, but he's far away from his Moonwells. That's a bit of an issue. Can't really build them, so during nighttime they can't replenish.
Yeah, still a lot of pressure coming in from the Night Elf Orc team. There's not too many archers coming in. Oh, the archers are actually still at the tavern. They're still doing a lot of damage. PaTo's Demon Hunter is getting low though, so he might have to retreat soon. But a Moonwell is falling from Smurf. And these grunts are just so tanky.
Is it falling though? There's still repair, and I don't think... Oh, even losing a grunt here, Moonwell stays up, so great defense. We're building up some more DPS on the human side especially, as rifles are coming in. And now things are even with an advantage to Hailua, who's by far the supply leader in the game.
Yeah, Hailua, not only was he the supply leader, but he also, in his opening build, he skipped the Arcane Tower and he went for a quick tier 2. So his tier 2 is going to be a little earlier than you would typically expect, and it's going to be very strong. Human is like one of the strongest tier 2 races, and he's really going to be looking to push his advantage there.
It's one of the best races in general, at least top 4. Oh, Smurf not going for a TP here. Demon Hunter just dead. That's a bit of an issue. Of course, TPs are expensive, but not having the Demon Hunter in this defense might be a crucial game-losing mistake.
Yeah, not only does he not have a Demon Hunter, but there are no units in the middle of the map, which means he can't get a second hero. This timing by Hailua, or by PaTo and Scars, is really deadly because of the addition of the Naga. Not only do you get the 5 supply of power, but the Naga just adds so much ability to pick off enemy units.
Great crowd control and great DPS, both in once. Another grunt falls. Hailua calls the militia, which is not what you want to do at the moment, but lumber shouldn't be the biggest issue. Smurf has to survive just to get the DH back. His Naga has arrived too. Mountain King low on mana. Archmage still not level 3. Everything's still up for grabs here.
Yeah, and while it might look like the human Night Elf team is holding on, the real problem, as we commentate this battle, with grunts and archers all falling down. Oh, and a Naga from Smurf coming out. The Demon Hunter has come out, and with that, I think Hailua and Smurf should be able to hold this. PaTo's Demon Hunter is going down, or falling a bit, but there's going to be a heal wave coming up soon. But I don't think any more units can be picked off from PaTo and Scars.
Yeah, they're running out of juice. No Hex available, of course. No Fork Lightning. The levels just aren't there yet. But the hammer falls onto the Naga. But PaTo, unlike Smurf, is able to pass the town portal and use it and save the hero, which was crucial. So we look at his supply, and it's fairly even for 3 players. Hailua still the standout, has been in the back lines, hard to reach, and just good positioning all across. And now the pendulum swings back into the direction of PaTo and Scars.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things happened just now. The first is that I was actually going to say that the real damage being done is that the fact that Smurf was not able to get up his tier 2 buildings during that push. And a bear timing would be really strong because PaTo's bears would be ahead of Smurf's bears. But if you look at Smurf's base right now, he actually put down a Ancient of Wind, which is now cancelled. He instead, after canceling the Ancient Wind, put up a Hunter's Hall, and I believe he's still trying to go for bears. But he's going to be much delayed compared to PaTo. So a bear timing PaTo could spell the end of the game, and that's looking to be very deadly.
Yeah, because of all that pressure, there wasn't even a Hunter's Hall, so Ancient of Wind at the moment, the only option. But now lures are available, but as I said, it's all so late. They have to buy some time. The map is big. There's a lot of experience still available. Lots of great items, of course. Auras, of course. And here's the first one for Smurf, Vamp Aura. If he makes it to bears, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have PaTo creeping his side of the map. Scars, instead of contesting for creeps in the middle map, opts to go for a safe creep in his Merc camp. His Shadow Hunter is still level 1. I think the next big level up from Scars is going to be the level 3 Shadow Hunter, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to get it before the next battle. We have a Cobalt Taskmaster added to Scars' army. That Cobalt Taskmaster has Command Aura.
Demon Hunter at the bottom, about to die. Info Potion just purchased. There was no town portal available. Risky play by PaTo, but is able to move away despite the Storm Bolts. But yeah, push is coming, pretty clear. And Scars has to run over to help PaTo, but he's taking a pit stop at this big camp. This might take a while, and PaTo's on his own.
Yeah, one interesting thing to note here is that the synergy of PaTo and Scars' army isn't the best because they all have melee units, which can be not especially effective, especially if they fight in a small choke like where Hailua and Smurf are positioned right now. Typically in 2v2 you want a ranged guy and a melee guy, but we have 2 melee guys from PaTo and Scars. However, this is still a very formidable battle, bears versus no bears.
Okay, there is a choke though, so all that melee that you mentioned has to squeeze through this and find the right spot, and the bears are trailing behind. They can't even attack. Archers up front, definitely a little bit of a positioning issue on PaTo's side here, but now it's all fixed. Now the bears are in the right spot and you don't want to face that! Blade going for the Mountain King. Safe last second. Whew, that was scary for a second. And bought a lot of time for Smurf, who's now going for bears as well.
Yeah, not only that, but as Hailua and Smurf, they know that basically the red creep camp is very easily available for PaTo and Scars because they were just there. You also have to note that Hailua really wants to be at that position because as the human player, one of your strongest advantages at this stage of the game is Blizzard, and Hailua probably really wants a retrain tome right now, which I expect him to go for right after this creep camp.
Hopefully, that's a lot of damage in combination with Clap, makes it hard to move away from it. What was the item here at the red spot? I failed to see it. Oh, claws plus 12. Very nice. Not as good as an aura though, but you always take damage.
Yeah, Hailua we see transitioning to mortar teams, and in a combination of the rifles, he'll have a lot of DPS. I would say that Smurf has done a really good job of safely teching to bears. I was really scared because of the potential timing, but I think Hailua and Smurf did a really good job of pressuring right before that potential bear timing and making sure that PaTo and Scars were not in position to do that to bear timing. We see Hailua at the merchant. Are we going to be able to see a retrain tome?
Yes, we did. Blizzard it is. And here comes the push. There's no dryads for single target dispel, but maybe they don't even need it. Maybe against the hex, but that's about it. And that means they have a lot of archers. That's a lot more damage. Scars has some issues reuniting his army. Very good positioning currently for Nabu. And will they take this fight?
If we consider the supplies here, including the army in the human base, I think Hailua and Smurf are way behind in supply in this battle. So it's interesting that they seem to try to take it, but I think they realize they're at a disadvantage and then TP out.
Oh, not Hailua though. Still in there. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. And that's 3 more units going down. Easy pickups.
Yeah, if we take a look at the supplies, it's 53 for Hailua and 46 for Smurf. So definitely a small advantage to PaTo and Scars, who are around 58 together. And I think this is essentially where Scars and PaTo are going to be strongest. They're not looking to tech up any further. Scars is still at tier 2. And as the armies grow larger and larger, I think it's going to favor Hailua and Smurf. So it seems like the irons are hot right now, and they're looking to finish the game.
Yeah, they are willing to strike into the Night Elf base. Moonwell's pretty depleted after the fight, and the bears locked behind the Tree of Eternity. Demon Hunter in the front row being nuked, and no chance. Smurf losing the Demon Hunter for the 2nd time. Not an AoE carry like a Mountain King or an Archmage, but still mana burn would have been so good. The fighting power would have been so good, and this should be a walk in the park for Scars and PaTo now.
I will say this position is amazing for Hailua especially. All the bears are funneled in. The Tree of Eternity is taking into the fight. And I think this is going to be as good as of a position as Hailua and Smurf can get. But we're still going to see the Mountain King falls. And the squishy riflemen are getting attacked. The Blade Master has free reign without any Sorks, without any Mountain Kings that is able to slow that down.
Wow, they're making this really, really tough. 2 hero kills, but everything read, everything heard, courtesy of Spirit Link, of course. A kingdom for a heal scroll now. This is a chance to even out the supply somehow, but a human army, never the fastest.
Yeah. No, human and night elf not known for having movement auras, of course. We have a healing scroll able to save that one final bear. And I think PaTo and Scars are in a really great position. I mean, just look at these supplies.
Look at E. Todd might be in Greece, but in spirit he's still with us. 20 food lead that is, especially on PaTo's side, and bears can all heal up with Reju, working on another gold mine now. But they couldn't crack the base entirely. Lots of corpses here, of course, heroes fell left and right. But it's not over yet, apparently. We saw how much this Mountain King and Archmage combo can carry in the late game.
Yeah, they definitely can carry, but it gets a lot harder when the armies are so small. Like if every player here had plus 20 supply, for instance, I think the Archmage and Mountain King could actually just solo the entire huge armies when the fights are really long, when it's hard to pressure the Archmage, when you can get maybe like 4 really strong blizzards in. But at these current army supplies where it's just still around the 50 level, and Smurf is only at 44, it might be a little harder.
Oh, they're chasing, they're hunting. They want to end the game and go map 2. That's pretty clear by now. Because they know that it's exactly as you said, and this combo is gonna be more threatening later on. Now, switch of plans, not the Night Elf base anymore, but we're pushing towards Hailua.
Yeah, Smurf TP's in. Right into the 2 Kodos actually. Oh, these 2 Kodos are in quite a bit of trouble. Can Scars position them? Oh, one bear or one Kodo falls. The second one is able to retreat, and PaTo's bears are turn around and go for the fight. Blizzard is raining down. Can Blizzard do enough damage to this huge army from PaTo and Scars?
Nice idea by Hailua to hide the mortars, but Blade Master spotted them, killed them pretty much early on. So no AoE siege damage anymore. And once again, Smurf and Hailua just retreating. This is almost A-click territory, if not for this needle hole. Good retreat by Hailua. He's doing as best as he can, but sometimes even that is not enough. But once again, Spirit Link coming into play. Everything's about to die for PaTo and Scars.
Yeah, the Demon Hunter is getting wailed at. He just used a healing potion, so he won't be able to use another one. Oh, critical strike from Scars' Blade Master, and the Demon Hunter goes down for, I believe, the 3rd time in this game. Now the Mountain King is getting wailed at. Mountain King is able to retreat, but is it too late? Everything from Hailua is going down as well. Mountain King is still being chased by the faster Blade Master, and I don't think he has much hope either.
Oh, there's no windwalk, no movement speed, nothing. Oh, now he gets boots, and that should be the kill for Scars then. Still tricky. Kodo comes in, probably for the block. There we go. Relatively easy to do with a big belly like that. And MK falls, just like everything else. Like we started this with 50, 60 food, and what's left? Nothing, especially for Smurf and Hailua. The UMAD team might eat defeat here on map 1. And that is the Naga down. Is there even hope left? Apparently there is. But we are whittling down on the human base. We are expanding 3 bases for the Phantom Aces team. Level 5 on the Blade Master as well. This is just nothing but fantastic so far. Reinforcements are coming in as well from the right hand side. Demon Hunter is back. Could make a pit stop at the shop. Resources are there, but it's not even necessary. 84 combined supply against like 55 or something. Little more. That's about it.
Yeah, Demon Hunter brought his 4 bear friends along as well. And yeah, these are GNL bears, bears who do not care to transform into master. Oh, there we go. And now they're the deadly siege bears we know and love.
And this MK, we won't see him again in this game, not from the altar at least. This is the classic moment where as a caster you might state that, maybe they are discussing strategies for map 2 already.
Yeah, I think a large part of it like this entire game was the tone was set by the early game harass. It was really I think it was mostly even until until PaTo and Scars came back for the second time and killed Smurf's Demon Hunter, and that just really changed the tone of the game. Otherwise, this was a very textbook human and a night elf versus orc and night elf game, with of course Scars and PaTo coming in the lead there.
Game 1 in the books. Smurf and Hailua call the GG, and one step away from the grand final are PaTo and Scars. I guess it's you can't really expect this kind of aggression from an orc night elf team. That's very unusual.
I would say orc night elf typically in this particular matchup, they're typically they have to make things happen because they don't scale as well. And that early game harass, I think typically actually what you see is the human being bullied. And the night elf is typically in a better position to defend himself, because he doesn't have like the squishy peasants, for instance. He does have the wisp, of course, but they can run, they can hide, they can survive a little better. And as the human player, I'm often as a 2v2 player and who plays human, I'm often the target of such Demon Hunter and Blade Master harass. So I know that all too well.
You poor soul.
Yeah, poor human player.
Yeah. We got a lot of support here, and I want to take the time between maps to thank you all. Thank you, Woody, for the 100 bits. Thank you, Morloon, for gifting a sub. Thank you, L Mythos, for the 11 euros and 11 cents. Love you guys. I'm pretty sure you contributed to the prize pool as well. Same amount, actually, coming from Nicholas. I hope Sock wins, making this 2,900. Thank you, Brickball. Very, very nice. We need to crack the 3K, but you're in a very, very good way. Thank you, Azra. Phantom Aces for the win. Meister Eda, I don't watch you guys as much as I used to, but I'm still doing my part. Glad to have you here, everybody. And now, no more time for the supporters, because map 2 is on the way, and that is Deja Vu.
All right. And is it Deja Vu again? Because it's Scars as Orc in the top left with a similar opening. And on the top right, we have his ally, the Phantom Ace's ally, of course, PaTo, as the Night Elf player going for, yet again, a similar opening. On the bottom right, we have Hailua. Very standard opening from Hailua. And on the bottom left, we have Smurf yet again. And I think it's going to be just all the same openings all around. One difference between the openings this game, or one difference between the Night Elf players, which happened in the last game actually, is Smurf put his Ancient of War at the Merc camp, which allows him to creep something a little harder, while PaTo positions his Ancient of War near an earlier creep, which allows him to finish the creep that drops the item a little faster and then immediately go for the harass. So just based off the positioning of the Ancient of Wars, I think we know the disposition of the Night Elf players. PaTo is going to quickly try to harass his opponent, whereas Smurf is going to focus on creeping and then reacting from there. So it's like the very old Warcraft 2v2 meme of do you creep or do you CC? Or do you CC or rush?
That's the question as always. That of course exposes the Night Elf base a little bit. It could very well be the same situation as on map 1. If Scars got the rabies again and rushes across, he's in a fine position to harass either wisps or archers or whatever. And Hailua, is there any big creep spots for him around? Not really, right? It's just a small one, not nearly enough for level 2. So Brilliance Aura and Water Elemental level 2 will take some time.
Yeah, typically, if you're in against any other matchup, you could go for the Merc camp as a human player, but I think it's just too risky against an Orc, especially. But not only that, versus an Orc and a Night Elf player. PaTo has scouted that Smurf is doing this creep camp, so both the Blade Master and Demon Hunter will be there. And I think Hailua expects this game, and he's gonna rush over to help his ally as well.
And away we go. The Ancient of War is of course not allowed to fall, otherwise there's even fewer units to defend with. He does have the Mercenary camp, but only available ever so often. But Hailua, a lot faster joining the defense than he did on game 1.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Smurf stole or took the Shadow Priest, which is an interesting decision because against a Demon Hunter and a Demon Hunter and a Blade Master, you actually often don't want to take this because it's so vulnerable to both just the Blade Master auto attack and the mana burn from PaTo. But on the other hand, you don't want your opponent to have it because it's so effective against an opposing water elemental, for instance.
So far the save goes well. Shadow Priest still alive, cost a little bit of moon juice, but yeah, Hailua to the rescue. And the Demon Hunter should be safe as well. Very similar situation to Rusty Creek. This time we have a Cloak of Shadows, no dust, so should be easy to at least hide the Demon Hunter. He gets the boots, both get the boots, so Ring Around the Rosy continues for now. And a little bit of peace for the first time in a while.
Yeah. I would say in this particular game, Smurf and Hailua are in a much better position. The only thing is Hailua is going to be still at level 1, and level 2 is actually very important because you get a constant stream of water elementals, where at level 1, like you can see, he's even struggling to creep right now.
That is an issue indeed when the Archmage is supposed to be the late game carry. Another adjustment by a Smurf. First game, his Hunter's Hall was incredibly late. Now he's able to fix that issue and go to Dryads earlier, go to Bears earlier, if that's not being cancelled, as PaTo has a sneaky Demon Hunter around.
Yeah, that was like the most... That creeping by Hailua really hurt. He lost most of his HP on the Footman and most of HP on his Archmage. Funnily enough, you mentioned Smurf didn't forget his Hunter's Hall this time, but unfortunately, it got cancelled by PaTo. So even additional pressure. I think Smurf and Hailua dealt really well with the first punch, but the second punch incoming might do a lot of damage.
The 1-2 combo. Not taking too many risks. Us PaTo and Scars with the speed scroll. Easy evacuation for the herd units. They're doing a really fine job in these pendulum attacks. Like, one of the players from the Phantom Aces, Demon Hunter, Town Portal now, is attacking, the other is healing, then they join each other for like a second or two, and then retreat and heal up. Very good coordination between them.
Yeah, that was really good play by Scars as well. Just, I think Smurf kind of overextended a bit with his Demon Hunter, and a TP was forced out, but that was at the cost of a grunt from Scars. We have the Naga from PaTo, which immediately forces a TP from Hailua. One interesting dynamic here about this kind of pressure from the Night Elf Orc team is that because they are pressuring the whole time, they're probably going to have control of the middle, which allows them the Naga. Whereas you can see that Smurf cannot get that Naga, and therefore the Smurf and Hailua are at a big disadvantage here.
Yeah, and once again, Smurf on the receiving end. He's being bullied the entire series. You know, the way he behaves in the gym voice channels, maybe it's deserved.
Yeah. But the Mountain King, I think the Mountain King, I would say normally, I don't know about this choice. I think typically a Blood Mage is a little more common as a second hero from the human player. But for this particular situation, the Mountain King allows the human team to be able to pick off enemy heroes. So it was very useful in that particular situation. Demon Hunter gets hexed, but a very crucial Dispel allows him to get out of the battle. We still don't have a second hero from Smurf.
Oh,
and then Archmage is getting focused.
And another hero
going down.
Very, very unfortunate. And hero focus continues onto the Demon Hunter. Will he fall for the 4th time in this series? Scars is maybe losing a grunt. He does, but trades it for a Rifleman. This looks like PaTo and Scars on their way into the grand final.
Yeah, PaTo and Scars are just picking off hero after hero, and even though Demon Hunter has like the fake evasion with his Talisman evasion, he's taking so much damage. A squishy Priest falls down as well, and the army from Scars and PaTo just is not losing any units, whereas Hailua is constantly bleeding units.
Yeah, and the hero focus on top of that, that's not a good numbers game. The rifle safe to the back, nice move by Hailua, who continues to impress throughout these 2-2 finals, but we're getting closer and closer to the end.
Yeah, continual hero focus. Smurf, there's just not enough healing from the Moonwells. The Mountain King falls. Smurf's Patrol Berserker is gonna fall. And with the tier 2 reinforcements from Scars, I just don't know. I don't think they're ever gonna be able to extricate to kick out this Night Elf and Orc combo from their base.
The priests are getting caught as well. Blade Master has the time of his life. And Nabu's base in absolute shambles. No tier 3. While PaTo just clicked the tech button. And where is the hope? Muddy is getting killed as well. Our mascot. Unfortunate. His lifespan, mere seconds. And this should be elimination. I don't see any way out here.
Yeah. Just unit after unit falling. But, you know, if it's anything similar to the last game, we know Smurf and Hailua are going to fight it out to the end. Of course, this is the prestigious W3Champions 2v2 finals, the pinnacle of 2v2 competition. So, you know, if it were me, I would also stay until my last unit died.
And the Demon Hunter dies again, 4th time. Yeah, it is basically the 2-on-2 World Championship. I think that is fair to say. But the grand final will not happen with the Polish-American team. Archmage, nice hiding in the shadows, but of course they come prepared. There is a reveal. There should also be another ensnare, and there is GG. Clean 2-0 PaTo and Scars in the grand final.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. If I had to summarize the strategy there, I would say that because the Night Elf and Orc team is fighting against the Night Elf and Human team, the Night Elf and Human team has very limited healing. They have free healing from the Moonwells, but it's limited. So with the like the 1-2 punch, as I like to call it, with the first punch, the goal is not necessarily to kill things, but it's to rather drain Moonwell energy. And because the Orc player has the advantage of the healing salves, which allow him to essentially have unlimited healing with the but at a cost, they're able to just come back at full health, and because of the drained Moonwells, they're going to put on additional pressure and essentially get the Demon Hunter to a position where he can no longer heal. So very effective strategy, very effective harass, and we saw those 2 pretty straightforward games from PaTo and Scars, and I think both those games was really decided by that early game pressure. So pretty cool display of Night Elf and Orc, pretty standard play.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm a bit surprised that we have a Night Elf Orc team in the finals. It is, of course, one of the most common combos in the history of 2-on-2 in Warcraft 3, but I felt like I felt like it fell off a little bit, and that was mostly because the teams were reliant on this tier 2 push with Raider, Walker, and Dryads, and a lot of combos found very good solutions to it. But Scars and PaTo, they adjust a little bit, going ultra aggressive, ultra hero focused as well. Not for the big fights, but rather snipes and aggression. And that worked out beautifully. And the Human Night Elf team that I favored as a combo has been eliminated and will not be part of the grand final. So now the big question is, of course, who's going to meet them tomorrow? Starbuck and Krav or Dice and Rezomoon?
Yeah, the question is, how many Night Elves will we have in the grand finals? If Razormoon and Dice make it to the grand finals, we will have 3 out of 4 potential players. But you know, if Krav and Starbuck instead take it, I guess that's a quarter of a Night Elf player, because I expect Krav to play Undead and Starbuck to play Night Elf. I would say I'm probably rooting for Starbuck and Krav in the situation, so we don't get all Night Elf players. But at the same time, it would be really cool to have a Dice and Razormoon upset.
We'll see. Yeah, that would be indeed an upset. Krav and Starbuck coming into this as the big favorites. One of my favorites in the entire community is a person called Buttcrumbs. He has an own emote in our chat because he's supporting so much. B2W Buddy. And there is a reason why I point him out, because prior to the map, we were at 2,900. Now we are at 2,969.69 thanks to a $69.69 dollar donation by Buttcrumbs. Nice. Double nice indeed. We are going through with the map pick and bans here. Shout out to 2v2, who is organizing this entire tournament and got up at 6 a.m. to be the admin for this entire thing. And that is, of course, our time to celebrate War3Champions, which is the best server in the history of the universe for competitive Warcraft 3. The biggest selling point, I keep on mentioning it, it counts your wins. That seems simple, but that is an advantage towards other competitive environments that we have in Warcraft 3. Of course, it has a great, or it is the best ladder with the best matchmaking, the best profiles across all game modes. You can look up your stats on the homepage. Flawless matchmaking, of course. All you have to do is download a little add-on from W3Champions.com. Then you get a little button in the main menu of Warcraft 3, and there you go. Everything looks like in the good old BattleNet, just behaves a lot better than that. We got 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 4-on-4, FFA, plus custom game modes like Legion TD, Reign of Chaos, Banjo Ball, Random Heroes, Dota, Survival Chaos, Line Tower Wars, and so much more. Thousands and thousands of people are participating on that ladder, and you should too. If you think, oh, it's called War3Champions, it's only for the champions. No, it's absolutely not. You can be a lower level champion, a Bronze League champion, a Grass League champion. We welcome you all. And we welcome you on 28 servers across the entire globe. So whether you're from Northwest Canada, like a Carson is, or if you're from Oceania, like a Say-So, or if you're from South America, who struggled a long time with unfavorable hosting situation, we got you covered, ladies and gentlemen. And if your connection isn't the best due to Wi-Fi or weather conditions, or you're downloading too much, whatever, there's a reconnect function that is also missing on other servers. All the matches can be viewed, including the War3Champions finals matches, of course, on Flow TV, integrated now also in the beta launcher, which is in development right now. A whole new system to make things more stable, reduce join bugs, and allow the team to implement new features more easily because it's independently built from the framework that Blizzard provides. And if you want to help with that, we always need helping hands. It's a team full of volunteers to put in their time and effort to make this the great platform that it is. You can help as a moderator. You don't need any coding skills or graphic skills or whatever. You have to read through some reports and appeals and sort out the bad seeds to keep the server clean. You can, though, join as a developer if you're able to code C#, .NET, React, Rust, TypeScript, or Node. And you can also help us to spread the word about War3Champions, just as we do here at the finals, as a social media manager, or as I talked about the beta launcher before, you can help us make this pretty and as functional as possible, as easy to use as possible. For example, the vanilla Warcraft 3 requires round about 12 clicks to host a game. On War3Champions, it's around 3. So that's what we're looking for with graphic designers and UI UX designers. That was stressful, but we get rewarded. Thank you, Monk. That means a lot. We got another $5 donation by 1to buying the Warden profile picture and a big $50 donation by Skimitar. Let's go, 3,000 euros, and we just did that. The big 3K has been broken. Wonderfully done. What a great community effort. And now I need a break, Monk. Are you in for a little break?
Let's do it. I do not have it in me to go on such a amazing and well-structured and very well-said spiel on how great War3Champions is. I think you said it so well. I am personally very happy to have War3Champions to be able to host games anywhere on the planet and have a great ping to anywhere else on the planet. And I'm just thankful that we have all these great people within our community, like the War3Champions guys, like yourself, Neo, a pillar of this community who is able to bring us the Warcraft 3 games that I personally loved as a child, and I continue to love and play to this day.
It's so wholesome, dude. Little bit of a break. Time for you to raise the prize pool even more, to apply for War3Champions, or maybe even play a little game on War3Champions. Back with the second semi-final in just 3 minutes.